Hey guys! Today I'll be discussing the Focusrite Scarlett Solo 4th generation audio interface. I've had it for about a year and a half now. I've been pretty pleased with it. Today I'll be discussing why we need to use an audio interface, how to use it, and what I recommend. So let's just jump right in. Why do we need to use an audio interface? The short answer is to convert the analog signal from an XLR microphone to a digital signal and into our computer. There are other ways to do this, but it's not as simple as it is with an audio interface. This is kind of the standard. For most people who are using a computer, or at least a Windows computer, the default input and output sound device is called Realtek. It's a sound chip that's soldered into your motherboard, and for most uses, just listening to music on a day-to-day basis or watching videos, anything that has to do with sound, this gets the job done. But for us as music producers, Realtek's not gonna cut it. We need to invest in an audio interface. So how to use the Scarlett Solo interface. Yeah, this thing's super simple, pretty much plug and go. It uses a USB-C cord. You can install drivers from the Focusrite website, but that's optional. When I first got it, I actually wasn't using the audio drivers. One thing to comment upon though that was a little confusing for me, when you're not using the drivers from the Focusrite website, when you go to a drop-down menu, say in your DAW, it will show up as Scarlett. But when you have the drivers installed from their website, it shows up as Focusrite. So I thought that was a little confusing. So let's go over the interface itself from left to right, starting with the front, and then we'll go over the back. Here we have the instrument input. This is where you're gonna plug in your guitar or bass guitar. These are your gain knobs, which are pretty important. Basically, it controls the signal, the strength of the signal. So if you turn it up, it's gonna be called a hot microphone and it will be really loud. So usually you don't wanna have it turned up all the way. I usually keep it around 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. So here's the instrument button. That's just if you're using a guitar or other instrument, you want to have that green. The 48 volts, that's your phantom power. So if you're using a condenser microphone, you're going to have that on. And then over here's the air button. I wouldn't really worry about this if you're just a beginner. I think all it does is boost the high end a little bit. All right, moving on. This is the output knob. So if you're using speakers, this will control the volume of the speakers. I don't use speakers, I use headphones. So us headphones users will control the volume with the headphone volume knob, which is over here. And then obviously this is the headphone output jack. And then there's a direct monitoring button. So I don't really use this, but if you're recording yourself and you want to listen back to yourself in real time, that's what that's for. All right, so moving on to the back, we have our microphone input. That's where you're gonna wanna plug in your microphone using an XLR cable. So that's the 3-prong cable. These L&R outputs are for studio monitors if you're gonna use those. And then over here is where you actually plug in the USB-C cable to plug in the device to your computer. And I honestly have no idea what this one does, so don't worry about that one, I guess. All right, so would I recommend the Focusrite Scarlett Solo 4th generation? I would recommend it. It's convenient to use. It's really simple setup, just plug and go. I like that there aren't a million different knobs to have to worry about. And especially for me, I'm just one guy. I'm not recording like a whole group or anything like that. It gets the job done for my needs. The other thing I wanted to comment real quick is that I like using these 3M command strips. So basically what that does is I can leave it kind of anchored right there. I have my mouse hand right here, so that's really easy access for me. So feel free to take that. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.